Your body knows when you're hiding, and it won't let you do it in peace. I've been actually testing something on myself for the last 18 months. Not a supplement, not like a protocol, not some training split, not some productivity hack. I've been tracking what happens when your biology, when you actually decide to become the thing that you suspect you're capable of being, versus what happens when you don't. And the data it ended the debate. And so here's what you can walk away with and really walk through today. Because if you've ever had blood work dialed, your sleep optimized, your VO2 max climbing, and your cortisol curve just looking like textbook, right? And you still feel like you're operating at 60% of something you quite can't name, then this is going to hit differently for you, because you're optimized on paper, but you're just unfulfilled in practice. And nobody in the health space is connecting why these two things can really exist the same time, right? And so let me tell you what I found after watching this play out for just months in my own nervous system, and dozens of conversations with people that had this exact same contradiction. And so your body doesn't just respond to what you do, it responds to what you refuse to become. And that refusal has a metabolic signature. And stay with me here. I promise you, this is going to be so valuable to you, because I really want to paint the picture of a physiological picture of somebody who decided to consciously or not stay small. And so their HRV is consistently suppressed, not because of overtraining, but because of withdrawing. And so their inflammatory markers creep up, not because their diet, not because it's because their resentment. And so their cortisol, it stays elevated in this very specific pattern, and not the acute stress of somebody pushing their edge, but the chronic grinding stress of somebody constantly monitoring their threats while refusing to engage. And so it's the biology of a person at war with their own potential. And here's what nobody really talks about. Your nervous system, it doesn't just distinguish between external danger and internal betrayal. When you sense what you're capable of something that you choose, and you don't pursue it, your body reads that as a threat, because it is one. It's an unconscious one, and it's probably some of the biggest one. So you're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. You're in a slow motion fight or flight response to your own unrealized life. And now, the wellness industry sold you a Disney version of this. And so be your best self, you deserve it, you're worth it, all these things. That's not what this is. This isn't self-help. This is really, it's a warning about what happens when you refuse. Because here's what nobody will tell you. Life is so difficult and challenging that unless you give it everything that you have, it will embitter you. And bitterness doesn't just live in your mind. It reconstructs your whole physiology. And the body, it keeps the score, but not in the way that you think. It doesn't just track what was done to you. It tracks what you didn't do, what you didn't let out, what you didn't become. And it essentially bills you for it. And actually, let me walk you through the progression, because this is really the part that messes a lot of people up. Most people think hiding is safe, right? You think I'll just not. I'll stay small. I'll keep my head down. I'll optimize my micronutrients. I'll manage my stress and keep everything comfortable. But what you don't let out doesn't disappear. It curdles within you. And so first, it becomes cynicism, and you start seeing through everything. You get good at spotting the bullshit. You pride yourself on not being naive anymore. And cynicism, it's an improvement, right? At least seen in the darkness, but at least you're not walking around with your eyes closed. But if you stop there, something worse happens. The cynicism metastasizes into bitterness, and that bitterness, and really bitter people don't just fail to add what they could add to the world. They start to actively work to destroy the people who are competent and doing well, right? And you become the person who who basically tears down instead of builds up, who mocks instead of mentors, and who would rather see others fail than risk your own emergence. And so that's the pathway to hell. And it's paved with optimized blood work. And so here's the progression you're actually looking for. And this is key. Naivety to cynicism to courage. Naivety is where everyone starts, and they start optimistic, but blind to malevolence in the world and in your own heart. And so cynicism is the first awakening. It's you see the darkness, you understand the stakes, the veils from the wall of your eyes. But, and this is important, cynicism is the destination. And it's just another form of hiding, essentially. And so the real move that you have to understand is that, one, actually, this challenges your biology. You replace naivety with courage. You regain optimism, not as a naive hope that, everything will work out, but as a moral imperative, as an act of defiance against the darkness. And when you do that, like you've now seen clearly. And so cynicism, it beats naivety, but it's not the ultimate destination that you should go at. You should be cynical enough to question the moral validity of your own resentment. And if you let that sit with you for a second, because this isn't not about positive thinking, it's about you asking to pretend if everything will be fine. I'm not talking about adopting the attitude necessary to make the future manageable. I'm talking about to act out the proposition that you can handle what's coming to you. You can ride the wave, no matter how big it becomes. And here's what's truly wild is this decision, it has a measurable physiological signature in your body. And so when you commit to becoming what you're capable of, when you stop hiding, your nervous system shifts completely. It doesn't do it immediately, not magically, but it does it measurably. And so your entire body, your tone, everything just improves. Your HRV stabilizes upward. Your body stops treating your own potential as a threat, and you just start treating it as a mission. And so the clinical literature, it backs this up. And so if you face this and you look at it and the impotent nature of this, you decompose it and you advance on it, and you don't just solve the specific problems here, you will get braver. And brave, it is the nervous system. That is the nervous system state. That's the transfer across all contexts in life. And so the person who learns to stop hiding doesn't just fix one area of their life. They rewire the pattern at the very root of who they are. And so if we talk about this for a second, you live in a sacrificial relationship with the world. And whether you admit it or not, that is what it is. It's a sacrificial relationship with the world that you have. And so work is sacrifice. You give up the present for the future. And that's the deal. That's the covenant, right? And the covenant is make the right sacrifices, and ultimately they pay off. And not because the universe is kind to you, but because you manifest it, not because of that. It's because the sacrifice builds capacity, and capacity compounds. And here's the part that just breaks people. You can't sacrifice half-heartedly and expect full returns. You can't optimize your body while hiding your potential and expect to feel whole. And this took a massive toll on my life for many, many years. And this is the integration gap. You've been treating your body and becoming a separate project, right? They are separate projects. And so as you're building your body up, the becoming self of what you could become, those are separate projects. You have to understand that they're not. Your body is the instrument through which you become. And so your becoming is what gives you optimization, a purpose, everything that's beyond vanity and fear. And a quick side note here is because this connects, when you lie, when you hide what's actually true, when you present a false version of yourself to extract resources from the world, whatever they are, you don't just lie to others. You pathologize your own instincts, your own life. And so your intuition, it starts leading you wrong. Not because intuition is broken, but because you've been training on false data. And when you wander into the pits of hell, you will refuse to see them. And so here's the line that I keep coming back to. And I need you to truly hear this. If you hide and don't let what's inside of you out, you won't just fail to add what you could add to the world. You will start actively destroying what's actually good in the world. And that's not philosophy. That's physiology. That's like the physiology meeting mortality. And so your body knows when you are leaving and not doing what you need to do, like leaving who you really could become behind. And your body knows when you're living below your capacity, and it will not let you do it in peace. So here's where you are. You've got two paths in front of you, two paths that you could take in life. And you could keep optimizing the vehicle while refusing to drive it anywhere that actually matters in life. And the vehicle, I mean your body. Or you could keep fixing the blood work and your macros and training splits, and all while staying small. And your body will keep sending you the bill. The inflammation, the suppression, the terrible sleep, the suppressed HRV, all this, like the sense that something, and it will tell you like something vital is missing, even though all your metrics look good, right? Or you can recognize the optimization without actualization. It's just high performance and hiding. And you can stop asking, what do I need to do to feel better? And start asking, what am I refusing to become? And what is that actually costing me? And you can start with the truth always. Like that's where you should become. Like start with the truth, because the truth it's optimally difficult, no doubt, which means it's really an optimal adventure in life when you face the truth. And your nervous system, it was built for adventure. It was not built for management. And so here's what I want you to really do. I'm not asking you to believe me of any of this. I'm asking you to run the experiment yourself. And name the one thing that you suspect you're capable of that you've been refusing to pursue. And you know better than me. And not something vague, something really specific, something that makes your chest tighten up when you say it out loud. And when you do that, like notice what happens in your body when you think about actually doing the thing. And so that tightness in your chest, or that excitement like in your belly that you have, that's not fear of failure. That's your nervous system recognizing the gap between who you are and who you could be, and treating that gap as a threat. And so the work isn't to make the feeling go away. The work is to move towards it anyways, to decompose it, to advance, and to measure what happens in between, like not just in your mindset, of course, like yes, in your mindset, but in your physiology. And when you stop treating your potential as something to manage and start treating it as something to become, man, this is the beginning of something amazing. And it's really the beginning of a thread that I'm going to keep pulling, because people who close this integration gap, who stop separating their optimization from their actualization, they don't just feel better. They become dangerous in exactly the right way. And so, the world needs more of that.